Okay, hi. How are you? I'm sorry I'm late for MOONCAST today because I slept late. I'm still at home with my mom. Today is the last day with my mom and my dad. This afternoon I will go back to Hanoi to see my friends and stay there for a few more days, and then I finally go back to Da Nang, my actual home in Da Nang. So I'm gonna miss this house a lot. This is the room that I spent my whole childhood sleeping in. So this is my old room. I'm gonna miss it a lot. And my mom, she's so sweet. She just went back home. It is exactly in my memory. I woke up late, and then my mom just brought home some bánh mì. It is my hometown Thanh Hóa bánh mì. Let's see what's inside. She usually just buy this one kind only. It's so good. It's the pop floss, and we call it like the pork stew, some vegetables. Oh, it's just full of like feeling like this. This is my Thanh Hóa Mì style. It's just full of feeling like this. It's ooh, pork floss, so good. So yep, this is it. I woke up in this room, and my mom went to the market, the China Center market, and she brought back home some breakfast for me. So sorry, I'm late. It's really good. It's really good. Oh man. Oh, it smells just so good. The smell with combination between the crunchy bread and vegetable, cilantro, and pork stew and pork floss. Hey. And it's probably like 50 cents. I think now maybe like 70 cents. Maybe. So good. So, oh, Mayhem calling is in the chat. Say versus capitalism in the chat. Hi, hi. How are you? Hope that I can bring you back to my show again. I'm traveling, so I cannot do that. I can not like invite the guests as much as I can before. Yeah, 50 cents. Yeah, from 50 to 70 cents. Only that in Vietnam. That's the price in Vietnam. The really fancy one would be like $1, but it's really fancy and only in big cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. In normal like rural areas like mine, it's just 50 to 70 cents. All right, hi everybody. Now this stream today, I'm gonna talk about corruption in Vietnam and also Q&A. I will ask. I will answer the question you asked me. I try. I saw some question from me already. First is from Saringan, 5,100. Saringan, you're a fan of Naruto too, right? I'm a Naruto fan too. Okay, Saringan. Hey, Luna, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor and more generally trade unions in Vietnam. Hi, Comrade. I made a whole video about trade union in Vietnam, all the basic information that you might need. Please check it out. It's right here. I'm posting the link in the chat. I think this is it. Okay, Saringan, this is my. You're gonna make some kind of research about trade union in China too, and you want to compare to Vietnam. Yeah, watch this video. I had all the links for reference, and also I set all the basic information you might need it. So long story short, the trade union in Vietnam is extremely strong. We have about total on the total, Vietnam have about 15 million workers, and 11 million of them are a member of trade unions. And what else? The trade unions in Vietnam are organized in a very what do you call it? Well organized. We have four main levels. First is the grassroots level, means that every single business in Vietnam, the law is by the law. that if at least five workers in a workplace in Vietnam want to form a union, that company must have a union, and the union leaders will be voted democratically by the workers, and then after that they will have the protection from the local government, because there's going to be like grassroots trade unions run by workers, and also the local level of trade union where like they not control, but like they oversee and they protect the trade unions in their local areas, and then they have what provincial worker unions, mean that they like they watch over the whole of the trade unions in their province, and then they have a the last is the central government level. It means like the confederation of trade union in Vietnam, workers union, like the national level like that. And workers union, the federation of workers union is a very important part of our political power, so it's actually very powerful. And we not just the workers union alone, we have many other kinds of unions, such as a farmers union, such as a women's union, extremely powerful. We have workers union, women's union, student unions, and we also have a bunch of like novelist union, poet union, I think. Like whatever kind of job in Vietnam, we have at that union. So yeah, like that too is very interesting. The official target of the government of Vietnam is that in the next decade, we will make sure that 100% of workers in state-owned enterprise are unionized. Right now, it's nearly 100% already. Mostly all of the workers that work for the government, the state-owned enterprise companies, they unionized. The biggest problem now is the private sector. Right now, only about 60 or 70% of private sectors workers in private sectors they are unionized. There are lots of ways. There are many ways for those companies in private sector kind of you know um find a loophole in the law, such as like they don't like there are many small companies that they have a very few workers and not enough five workers want to start a union, and all like they want, but when the workers want to start a union they kind of do it very slow to have the union to form and then inform it to the local government, many ways like that. And we're trying so hard to trying to eliminate this kind of weak point, and in the next decades near 100% of workers in private sector will be unionized, something like that, and that is our official target. So yep. So yeah, so it's a very strong. Go check the video out, and you will know it's not perfect. Absolutely, it's not perfect. Capitalists in Vietnam have been trying so hard to infiltrate and try to sabotage the workers' union, and the government have to fight against that, and also the workers. So it's not perfect yet, but at least it's way better than the unions in the U.S. So if you want to know more about examples, just go watch that video. The bread smells so good. I'm dying here. Okay, another question. Okay, let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Oh, I'm choosing the question first. Oh, so many questions. I'm starring all the questions so I can answer them one by one. I'm starring them. Give me a few seconds. Ui giời ơi. So many questions. Wow. Wow. I'm amazed. Okay. I saw this very funny. Actor union. We do have an actor and actresses union. Yes. We hold like the artists union, including, all kind of artists too. A novelist, poet, a lot. What kind of job that you have? We have a union. YouTuber union. Oh, we need to have a YouTuber union. YouTuber is like a new kind of thing in Vietnam in the last few years already, and not enough people talking about this. And also at the same time, YouTubers are being controlled by Google. YouTube and Google, and they're not located in Vietnam. They're not located in Vietnam, so it's gonna be really hard for us, YouTubers in Vietnam, to have some any impact on that. And we also cannot ask the government for help because they're not located in Vietnam. And that was why a few years ago, when Vietnam asked Facebook to have an office in Vietnam, the headquarters in Vietnam, and lots of people say like this is a very dumb idea. But I totally agree with that, because we force Facebook to have headquarters in Vietnam means that they, based on that, they have to follow our law. And if anything bad happen, we know exactly when, who to find, and how to punish them or something. And yeah, it did happen that last year. I think Vietnam got a lots of tax from Facebook, that Vietnamese people runs ads and business on Facebook, that they but the Facebook doesn't pay any tax to the government of Vietnam, even though they are making money out of our market. And yeah, it took us many years, and but finally Facebook paid their tax to Vietnam, a lot of money. So it's very important. I believe that Vietnam has been also has been asking Google to have official headquarters in Vietnam or something, but they haven't answered yet. They're just too powerful, but we try. In Vietnam, even the unions have unions. Exactly. Even unions have unions. For example, grassroots union in the local area will have a union together. We call the local union. And then all the local union in one province have the provincial unions. And then all the provinces, 63 provinces, will have a national union. We call it the Federation of Workers Union in Vietnam. Extremely powerful. And they have big summit every year. It's very serious. All right, next question. Oh, hello now. What does retirement look like in Vietnam? Are these programs like Social Security, 401k, so people using their own savings? I can tell you exactly how it works in Vietnam because my dad is having retirement salary right now. So long story short, this is how it works. If you're a worker in a company in Vietnam, the company must pay you, no, at least as much as the basic salary of Vietnam. And by the way, we just raised the salary of Vietnam, the basic salary. We do this nearly every year, and the percentage of the basic salary that got raised usually higher, even double than the inflation rate. So raising the basic salary of Vietnam, the rate is higher than inflation rate, is just a normal thing in Vietnam. And nobody even asks for it. The government just raise it based on the inflation rate. So that's a small point. Another point is that, okay, you work for a company in Vietnam, like my dad. Doesn't matter if you work for a state-owned sector or a private sector. The company will have to pay you usually what is it? The health insurance, bảo hiểm y tế, social insurance, and also unemployed insurance. This is a new thing. Unemployed insurance. This is my generation. My dad didn't have it, but my generation, born in the 90s, will have unemployment insurance. Okay, so we have 3 insurance like that, and the amount of this is that I think that for all of the amount of insurance that we have to pay, we pay 10% of our salary. So we pay according to our salary, and we have to spend 10% of our salary for all 3 kinds of insurance. The company will pay 20% for us. So the total is 30% of our salary, but we only have to pay 10. The other 20% paid by the company, the capitalist company that we are working for. Okay, and we just keep paying it monthly like that. For the unemployed insurance, let me explain about this first, but it's pretty simple. In order to receive the unemployment insurance, you need to work for at least a year for a company. It means that you have to pay at least 12 months of unemployment insurance. And after a year, whenever you quit your job, you don't need to be even get fired. You just quit your job. I did that. I quit my job. I worked for a year in that company. I quit my job. And then after I quit, I asked the company, to release me a letter of resignation or something like that. And they stamp on that. They stamp on that letter to confirm that I quit this job. And then I brought my insurance book issued by the government. I got it once I worked for the company. So, and then I brought that letter, resignation letter, brought 2 of that to the area where I worked. The district where I work or something like that. Actually, where I live in Hanoi. Yeah. Just brought that to the labor department near our area. The government will check, look at it, and then it took the lady like 5 minutes to write me the new confirmation that okay, you're qualified to have insurance, unemployment insurance. And after that, for 3 months, I can receive 60% of my official salary. So at that time, my salary was $700, and yeah, and then I got 60% of that $700. It was really good, and it's so easy. I just need to show up once every month to that department so they can stamp the. I just go there. I just went there, and the lady asked me, "Have you got a new job yet?" I said, "No, I haven't." And she stamp on the paper that this person is still unemployed, and then she gives me the next month's salary. It's funny like that. And that's a funny small story was this. I went back home. During that 3 months, I went back home to visit my mom and my dad. And at that time, I was on the train going back from my hometown back to Hanoi. And the lady, it was 4 p.m. already. The lady called me. "Hey, are you Luna?" I'm like, "Yes." "Hey, today is the last day for you to report to the labor department. When will you be here? We're about to close already." And I was panicked. I was on the train because I thought that I can just go tomorrow morning or something. I got the date wrong. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm on the train right now. I cannot go there." And then I begged her to like, "Please help me. Can I go tomorrow morning or something?" The lady was like, "Okay, tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. You go here, you go straight to my table. Don't get on the line. Just go straight to me and tell me your name. Okay?" And then I said thank you to her. And then next morning, first thing in the morning, I went there. I just cut all the line. I went straight to her. Like, "Hey, this is my paper." And then she was like, "Okay." And she just took it. And then, yeah, she just helped me like that. It's a really fun story. And it was not hard at all to get unemployment insurance in Vietnam. And the lady even helped me to get, even though I was one day late. It's a memory that I will never forget. The lady was very cool. If we quit a job here, the government also denies unemployment unless it's extreme cases. That's not the case in Vietnam at all. I voluntarily quit my job. And I just asked the company to issue me a letter to announce that she quit the job and now she's unemployed. And it's just that. And I didn't have to prove to the lady that I could not find a job or something. I didn't even have to go there to ask for help or something. Just go there. I'm still unemployed. She gave me the money for 3 months straight, and that's it. It's pretty awesome. And the funny thing is that the unemployment insurance will be paid. You know, the 60% of that old salary will be paid by the latest salary that we got. And I was super extremely lucky because my latest job, I had the highest salary. So I had the highest unemployment salary ever in my life. And that was very amazing. Okay, retirement. Sorry, retirement. Okay. Retirement will be like if you work for, if you pay, if you pay social insurance, healthcare, health insurance, and unemployment insurance nowadays. For it depends from 20 years or 25 years or even more. It depends on that. You have a higher rate of retirement salary. Like my dad, he had 20 years of paying those insurance. So right now he has retirement salary, and that is the most common system in Vietnam. That based on, how do I explain it? It's pretty complicated. A long story short, my dad paid for 20 years of those social insurance, health insurance, blah blah blah. So now he's receiving about $150 as retirement from the government. Is that low because he started paying in the 80s and in the 90s, and my dad retired very early. He had health problems, so he retired when he was 45, very early. So the salary, and at that time in the 90s and early 2000, his salary was extremely low. So that was why his salary is really low right now. But he just live in a village, and it is kind of enough for him to live and also to live on. And also my dad still work, after retirement he still works sometimes if he feel like it. So yeah, but the salary will be paid, the retirement salary will be calculated based on the so again, I will try to say this again. I lost my English skill already. Right, so in that the time, let's just say 20 years of you paying those insurance, the government will take all the kinds of salary that you got, and then they will find the average level of salary, okay, that you had in those 20 years of working. And then that average salary will be the retirement salary of you after you retired. Basically how it works. All right, I could be wrong, but I think that's how my dad's salary worked. Did my dad enjoy his time in the Soviet Union? Yes. Most of the stories he already told in the video that I interviewed him. He mostly talked. He spent only 3 years in Soviet Union. Most of the time he spent in Laos, so he actually has more stories in Laos than story in Soviet Union. One of the stories that he remembered the most in Soviet Union was about the food that already had in the video I interviewed him. He went to the Soviet Union when he was just 17 years old, just a village boy. He didn't know better. He went there, and at first he didn't know how to eat cheese and yogurt and garlic sauces, and it took him a while to get used to those food. And he said that even to this day he always felt so sorry that, and he was, always like pissed at himself for wasting those good food, because for the first few weeks he just, and his whole class just throw away those food because they couldn't eat it. But now, like, yeah, he just always want to eat those things again. The second, another story in Laos was this. So at that time, Laos, they did not have the ocean, the sea. They didn't have sea, so salt was very expensive and rare in Laos. On the other hand, Vietnam, with the half of Vietnam is the ocean, the coast. So we have lots of salt. So usually what we did was this. Vietnamese brought salt to Laos through the jungle, walk through all the jungles, brought salt to Laos, and then we'll buy back, clothes, rice, mostly rice, back to Vietnam. And also at the same time, because of this, because Vietnam was under comprehensive sanction from the US and the rest of the world. It was extremely hard for Vietnam to look for food and clothes and medicine and other household equipment too. So that was why Vietnamese people will sneak through the jungle. It is like smuggling. This was smuggling. Vietnam smuggled salt out of Vietnam to the jungle to Laos, and then Laosian people also smuggle back all the stuff that they have to trade for salt. And my dad did it. My dad, whenever he had a chance to go back home, whenever he got back to Laos, he brought like lots and lots of salt, and then he used those salt to trade for the equipment that we couldn't find in Vietnam. And it was like that because Laos was not under comprehensive sanctions, so they can import buy those things from other countries. Meanwhile, Vietnam cannot, so we had to smuggle each other like that. Mostly, no, sadly. But people in the mountain area, when we share, we share lots of mountains together, Laos and Cambodian. So yeah, those people living in that, they can understand each other. But like me, girl born in plain land and near the coast, I cannot, sadly. Joe Harrison, hi. Here I am in the car talking to myself. No, you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to me. Hi. Drive safe. Safe and sound. um Question, CS Dow. Does Vietnam have a cops in the countryside? Yes. Cops are literally our neighbor. We know the cops very well. We know even the parents and grandparents and great grandparents of the cops in the village. So that was story. Oh, my mom with the cops in the village. So my mom is really badass. Years ago, when she still had tailor shop out there behind that window, there was her old tailor shop, and now she ran it to somebody else to open a motorbike repair shop. Another villager has just that, a symbol like that. So according to the law, my mom would have to pay the tax to the government once a year. We go thuế môn bài. We don't know exactly how to translate it to English, but it's kind of a tax you pay for the government once a year. It's kind of for the government to allow us to have a business in our house. And at that time, it was like $5 only, $5 or $10. It's so cheap for the whole year to the government. And when I remember that on that morning, The governor, the local governor came to my mom's house, tailor shop, and asked her to pay for that tax. My mom just refused. My mom just fuck no, I'm not gonna pay this. She said like I'm not making any money from this tailor shop. I barely survive this the tailor shop, and I'm not gonna fucking pay tax to you. And then they just left. My mom never paid any tax. Now my mom retired and it is stories of like 10 years ago. So I'm my mom just straight up refused to pay tax to the local government. They just leave my mom forever alone forever. My mom is pretty badass. Fuck the tax. Another story was this. Next to our neighbor, like right next door, he has like some criminal record, and he usually the thief of the village. And then, true story, that night he tried to steal one of my mom's chicken. My mom screamed out loud. I remember it. My mom screamed out. It was late at night, 10 p.m. I think. My mom screamed because my mom saw some shadow jumping out of the wall between the two houses. So my mom knew exactly who was that stole her chicken. So she immediately called the cop, which is another neighbor, to go and write down and then make that tip to promise that he would never steal the chicken again and give the chicken back to her. I mean, it's just like that. I mean, we never went to the cop station, police station, or went to like court or anything. It's just like we saw we saw a thief. We know exactly who was that. That's our fucking neighbor, and we call another neighbor, which is a cop, to go to our house to ask them to go ask a thief to go here and talk. To go to our house and talk. We have a treat like they talk like that, and then force the thief to write a letter to promise that he would never steal anything from our house again. Because if he did not write it, he would be sent to the cop station, and nobody wanted to do that. So the thief agreed to write that letter, and that was it. He did leave my house alone. So yeah. So we do have cops in the countryside, but here's the thing. They mostly just stay at home. They're not on the street. They don't patrol. No. We don't even patrol in big cities. So no, we don't patrol in the village. Everybody know exactly who they are. Not even just them, but their wife, their children, their parents, their grandparents, all of their relatives. We know exactly who they are. So they just mostly just stay at home or work in the police station in the village. They only go out when somebody reports some crime or call for help or something. And that's it. Yeah, my mom just doesn't take any shit. She doesn't. She's a badass. I wish that I can be as half as her. How expensive are groceries in Vietnam? Uh um we are agricultural country. So food price is very cheap, very affordable. So right now I don't see any raise in food prices. No. A little bit because of inflation rate, like a few percent, but it's not a big deal. Our basic salary is also raised, and it's still way lower than our income. So the thing is that the income of Vietnamese people are very low compared to the income in the USA, but our living cost is extremely low. So it's actually compared between the living cost and the income, there's still huge gap, and that still pretty good. Low income, low income, but even way lower living cost. So if you compare like that, it's still better. But groceries, let me think. My mom, I'm calculating my mom, one living in a village, 2 people in the house. How much she spend a month for the food and other stuff like that? Usually about 150 bucks a month for 2 people. They don't have to pay any rent because they own the house already in the 90s. 90% of Vietnamese people own our own home, so most of us do not have to pay rent. Yeah, cost them in the village like this cost about 150 bucks a month for food and all kind of stuff like that. Do we know how to speak South Vietnamese? Yes, I do. I did learn. I don't think that I do a good job, but I am very interested in learning different accent of Vietnamese. So let me say something in the Ho Chi Minh kind of accent, like "Ủa vậy hả? Đi đâu vậy?" It's I think like it is how we say in the north. Hả? Thế thế hả đi đâu đấy? That's how we say in the north. Thế hả đi đâu đấy? Bạn đi đâu đấy? But in the south say that. Ủa vậy hả? Mà đi đâu vậy? And then in the center of Vietnam, I'm from the center of Vietnam. So we usually say like "Mì đi mua rửa." Răng mình răng rửa, "Mì đi mua rửa." So yeah. I just tell you like the exact same sentence, but in a different style of speaking and different accent of 3 regions of Vietnam. How different from the south compared to the north? Very, very, very different. Extremely, very different. So, for example, in the north, it is unwritten law, but this is a thing that the northern accent usually considered to be the official accent, and usually, the national reporter, they usually choose people with northern accent. But we are changing it now. We are having recruiting more and more people with different accent to our national TV channel, but there's still a long way to go. But let me say this in the northern accent. Xin chào, mình tên là Luna, mình là người Việt Nam và hiện tại thì mình đang ở quê nhà mình. Và rất cảm ơn mọi người đã đến với cái livestream của mình ngày hôm nay. Now that is a northern accent. Now this is gonna be a Ho Chi Minh accent. Ủa xin chào mọi người, mình tên là Luna nè. Rất là cảm ơn mọi người vì đã tham gia cái livestream này của mình. So it's like long story short, I feel like the way the North say is it sounds very formal and kind of calm in a way, formal, something like that. No emotion. But in the southern accent, it sounds more cute. We say that with higher pitch, cute and more emotion, and it's like more exciting in way like that. So it's you sound like you need Benita. God damn it! My nose is totally fine. So yep. Usually people in the north love the southern accent because to us it's very cute. And usually people in the south love the northern accent because it sounds warm, deep and warm in their heart. But yeah. but I can tell that many of you not talking about the center accent enough. The center accent is also very interesting, but lots of you do not know about that yet. Kind of sad. Because my Thanh Hóa, my hometown in the center of Vietnam, we also have our own accent. It is very strange. But people from Nghệ An, Hà Tĩnh, further to the south, but still in the center, they have very different accent. Benita is a nose spraying kind of medicine for stuffy nose. So many questions. I'm trying my best to answer them here. No, I never work in software development. Actually, I work in. Let me see. I work in a fashion store manager for 2 years. And then I work at the paint company, paint store. I sell paint. And then I work as a sales assistant in a medical instrument company. And then I work for outdoor advertisement company. Then I work for telecommunication project controller. So yeah, I actually never been working in the software development field ever. But now I quit all my job. I'm a full-time YouTuber right now. Aww. Corruption in Vietnam. Did any politician use an official car to take his dog to the vet? Mẹ, tiện mày đưa cho con cốc nước cái mẹ. Đây này. Mẹ tao lấy cốc nước đây. Corruption. Terrible. It's terrible in Vietnam. It's so terrible that every single morning we woke up and we heard the news about this governor just went to jail because of corruption. So right now, the mayor of Hanoi went to jail under investigation. The minister and deputy minister of health, Ministry of Public Health, Ministry of Health, went to jail under investigation. The mayor of Da Nang went to jail, and also the police department of Ho Chi Minh City just went to Hanoi to have some training so they can go back and arrest corrupted members in Ho Chi Minh City too. It is a huge. Now the thing is, yes, we have a corruption in Vietnam, lots of corruption, but we have a fight against corruption in Vietnam right now, very tough, and lots of people are now in jail. You can't believe it. You can't believe the scale of the fight against corruption in Vietnam right now. It's amazing. And lots of governors in Vietnam try to resign right now. And we say like, there's no safe landing in Vietnam. It means that like there's no way that you can get rid of your crime. We will fight you even after you resigned, after you retired. You can only escape if you died. Okay, because lots of former governors of Vietnam, they retired for so many years, but they still not in jail to pay back for what they did in their office time. So it is a huge thing in Vietnam. And the funny thing is this. Nobody likes corruption, of course. And we have a lot of corrupted members in Vietnam. And this is the thing that happened right after the huge wave of corruption in Vietnam started, I think, from 2010. For about 10 or 15 years, Vietnam had an extremely corrupted government. Nguyễn Tấn Dũng, I can tell exactly who was that. Nguyễn Tấn Dũng used to be the prime minister of Vietnam for 10 years. And he was extremely corrupted. And he had the whole government corrupted like him. He got power in 2005 or 6, and he ended his term in 2016, I think. Yeah, 10 years in power. It only ended in 2016, and he was voted out, and a new government was formed, and that new government, even to this day, 2022, still fight against that old corrupted government. It is extremely big and like crazy story in Vietnam right now, and now it's deep rooted in Vietnam, and we are trying so hard to take that out, and we call like to change the blood, to change the new blood of the government of Vietnam. We're fighting against that. And the fun fact. You know that Three Stripes, Vietnamese anti-communist reactionaries, been criticizing Vietnam of being corrupted, right? And we accept that. We have corruption here, we not deny that. And whenever we hear news about Vietnam arrest this corrupted minister, this corrupted mayor of literal capital of Vietnam, the communists, the anti-communist reaction is like, haha, you see Vietnam is so fucking corrupt that you need to change the government right now. Like, dude, what are you talking about? We are changing the fucking government. We are arresting those corrupted high-ranking governors. So if we don't arrest those corrupted members, we're bad. But if we do arrest those corrupted members, we're still bad. According to those people, their logic doesn't make sense. So we don't arrest them, we're bad. We do arrest them, we're still bad, even more bad, because we arrest them because it's a proof that you're corrupted. Like, what? At least we're arresting them. What are you talking about? We call it double standard. And they said that there's no corruption in the US because nobody ever got arrested because of corruption in the US or something like that. So it's those people, they extremely double standard, because Vietnam arrested corrupted members means that that's a proof that we corrupted. Vietnam is so terrible, corrupted country. The US never arrest any high-ranking governor, senator because of corruption, means that there's no corruption in the US. Like, seriously? And also at the same time, EJ, you just gave me this funny thing. When we say they've been criticizing us of being authoritarian, that only communists can be voted in government. Oh, we're so authoritarian. But then when we arrested those people, and then they ask us to be more democratic, and said that we have to vote in the chance for liberals, neoliberals, to be in the government in Vietnam. And yes, liberals did slip in to the government, and they had got the high-ranking members. And of course we had to and then they very corrupted. They extremely corrupted governors. And then they asked us, like, why don't you like arrest or kill them or kill corruption in Vietnam? Means that, like, they asked us to be more authoritarian. I mean, whatever we do, we are criticized by those reactionaries. So we don't give a shit anymore. Just do what we think the best for our country. They criticize us of being too authoritarian, and then they criticize us not being authoritarian enough. And when we gave like some life sentence or even death sentence for super extremely corrupted governor who literally caused irreversible corruption in Vietnam and took millions of dollars into his pocket, and his family just refused to pay the money back. We gave him death sentence. People like, Vietnam is so terrible, too authoritarian. Like, he just a banker. And you gave him death sentence. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously, you're not making any sense. Good movie about the Vietnam War. The Smell of the Grass Burning. It is good. The Smell of Grass Burning. It is a Vietnamese war movie made by Vietnam. And many, Vietnamese veteran fought in the war watched that movie, and they said that it was really accurate to their own experience. Smell of the grass burning. The smell of the grass burning is on YouTube, and they have English subtitles. So go there, watch it. The smell of grass burning, a Vietnamese war movie made by Vietnam. Really good, really accurate to the experience of the Vietnamese, soldiers in that war. Another question. My favorite podcast, a lot. The History Hub, the History podcast, the History Hub, right? They're cool. The program, they're cool too. Also, the Red Planet. I'm not sure that they podcast or not, but the Red Planet, they're cool too. And so many other podcasts that I was invited, they all very cool. Yeah, mostly it. Luna, oh, this is a big question. Luna, what do you think about the wave of communists who try to push socially conservative right wing views in their ideology? What should I say? Those people, they lost. They lost because here's the thing. At least they recognize that socialism, communism is the way into the future to have a better society. But the way they do it, because they being misled, they lost, they confused. So instead of creating a counter hegemony to fight against the right wing and fascist talking point and views, they try to infiltrate, they try to gain the attention from those people. It's just like debate bros who they call themselves leftists, but instead of talking to actual workers out there, they mostly focus on white Nazis and try to turn them into ex-Nazis. Okay, and that is extremely wrong kind of idea. If they just naive and they just like good in even their heart and they just be misled and they just think that converting Nazis and right wingers will be the priority of socialist and communist. In that case, I'm very disappointed. I am extremely disappointed with those people because you've gone this far, and you realize that socialism and communism is the way, but then you you put priority to those conservative right wingers and fascists. You think that the most important thing to do right now is to convert those people, and how to convert those people? Trying to accept their talking point and turn their talking point into our talking point. Now this is extremely wrong way to approach things. Extremely wrong, because you know what? There are millions and millions of people out there, not just in the imperial court, all over the world. We are working class and we are non-white, and we are the low-hanging fruit right here. We are the low-hanging fruit. Because why? Because we live in this fucking capitalist hellhole. We're being oppressed by the system using racism and lots of other stuff, misogyny, bigotry. And we hate the system already. We also oppressed by, systemic racism. So we understand it very well. And it's gonna be way easier for us, you know, to have class consciousness and to start something, a movement together. the fascists and the right-wingers, those people, those are gonna be the last group of people that you should convert. You only should convert them after you have the support from the vast majority of the world working class. Because why? We, the working class, especially the non-white people, at least, we do not want to commit genocide on other group of people. Okay? We don't want to eliminate a group of people based on their race. Okay? And we don't believe that we are superior to other people. We don't want an ethno state. All right? So that is why then that kind of value align a lot with socialism and communism, where we want a society of stateless and classless society that's no exploitation, total liberation of humanity. All right? But those fascists and right-wingers, white supremacists, what they believe in? They believe in the superiority of white people. Huh? They want an ethno state of just white people only. And they want to commit genocide on anyone that non-white and don't agree with their ideology, their white supremacist ideology. And that is a very dangerous and extremely violent group of people. Why? If you call yourself a communist and socialist, why do you leave us out? The working class, the miserable working class out here being oppressed every single day, 24/7. And then you focus on those right-wing fascists, white supremacist group of people. There must be something very wrong in your head if you think that that is your priority. Okay? If you're a true socialist and communist, you must find the lower hanging fruit first, to gain a bigger movement first, and then you start converting those people. And you're not converting fascists and Nazis by adopting their talking point. You convert them by creating, as Gramsci said, a counter hegemony to fight against their white supremacist talking point. Because before you think you can convert them Nazis into ex-Nazis, you are becoming one of them first. Because you're adopting their talking point. I'm so fucking mad at Pat Sock, American Patriotic Socialist, where they adopt the white genocide talking point that came from fascists, Nazis, the white genocide. And literally, those American Patriotic Socialists right now are talking about white genocide, and they claim that land back and decolonization is white genocide. And they think that they can use that to somehow be accepted in the Nazi space, to convert ex-Nazi by agreeing. You think that you can convert Nazi by agreeing with their talking point? Like, what the actual fuck? And then you claim that people who support land back, like me and many other people, to be try to commit white genocide, to try to have an ethno state of non-white people. And that's why, like, and then they ask us non-white people to support them, to agree with them that land back means white genocide. Like, what the fuck? Seriously? You see the flame of anger right now that flying on my head right now? This is how angry I am with those logic from those people. Huh. They try to be accepted by spreading Nazi talking point, and then when we, the non-white people, fight against that, they claim us to be against the true value of communism. Like, what? Nobody even asked about what land back actually means. Ôi trời. And then now I'm anti-white racist. Anybody who say that land back is actually not white genocide and we do not want ethno state, and suddenly we are like anti-white racist. And then they ask me, people like me, to support them, the empath sock. Seriously. I have to drink some water to put down this flame. We coming gonna take your toothbrush and toothpaste too. Under communism, we all have just one big toothpaste, and then we all have to share that big toothpaste. Question. I still have more question. Long story short, back to that question. What do I think about those communists taking writing talking point? They're extremely wrong, and you're not gonna convert Nazis by taking their talking points. You're gonna convert them by counter hegemony. And if they still not agree with that, they still want to have an ethno state of white people, of white supremacists, and they still want to commit genocide on non-white people, we're gonna answer them by violence. This is the last thing that we would want, but we also need to prepare for that. And in order to have enough force to fight against those very extremely dangerous and violent force, fascists, we working class have to come together. Okay? Because long story short, white people only account for, I think, 15% of the world population. Over 80% of the world population are non-white. So, excuse me, we are so done with the white supremacist talking point. And we are the majority of this world. And you better sign with us. Because we're gonna overthrow capitalism no matter what. And we're gonna throw white supremacism no matter what. And you better join us, or else you don't want to be our enemy. Okay? We are 85% of the world population, so be careful. Choose wisely. Take that White Panther. Ooh. If that's what I think, I could be wrong, but is that like they like the white supremacist version of Black Panther? Religious proselytizing. What does that mean? This is a new word for me. I'm using proselytize. Oh, kind of converting, for somebody to convert this religion to follow another religion, right? EJ, hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi there. What?
Oh, I didn't actually mean to show Texas White Panthers chat here, but it's a good one. I hate when whites in nice little safe sheltered lives like to judge poor indigenous farmers and call them terrorists when they fight back. They get massacred, tortured, and denied democracy. And that's basically what happened to Vietnam. But Texas White Panther said they sent a donation through Stream Elements. Did you see that? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted, you tuna. I'm waiting. I'm gonna go get my. You're muted. Okay.
Okay, I know. I'm sorry. I forgot to open my Stream Element. I'm checking right now.
I'm gonna go get my headphones while you check that.
Okay. Okay. No. Check my activity feed. Ayo, thank you so much, Texan White Panther. The thoughts about the current and projected regime in the Philippines. A lot of Filipino diaspora realize their countrymen are under hypnotic spell of far-right fascination. Oh, so is that? I think I was wrong about the White Panther. They good. They're good, right? They're cool, right? I'm not sure. I could be wrong. So please, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm wrong here. Okay. No. Now back to. I'm sorry if I got the White Panther wrong. But anyway, the answer about the Filipinos. Thank you so much for your donation. The Filipino. Yes, their government is extremely fascistic. And that's what you got when your country. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. And that's what you got when your country is occupied by the USA. So, and I am happy that lots of Filipino diaspora started realizing that, but there's still a long way to go for Filipino comrades to somehow end that existence of the government.
Luna, in along the lines of what Texas White Panther was talking about, you should show that meme you put on Twitter.
What meme?
The eagle. The one with the eagle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great meme. You should throw that up on screen.
Yeah.
And while you do that, I'm going to really quickly. There was one comrade. I can't find their chat now, but they were asking about studying in Vietnam, and I'm an American. I'm trying to find it. They are an American who. Oh, Elias. Yeah, Elias. Elias asked, "What would be a good college for a history major? Do you know a good college with a history program in Vietnam, Luna?" I know Da Nang University has a history program. I don't know if it's like great or not.
One of my friends studied, and he studied like Eastern kind of history. Đại học khoa học xã hội và nhân văn. I don't know how to say it in English, so give me a second.
But as far as just studying, it's very easy. I mean, you just have to you can get a student visa basically, right? That's like step one. I would maybe recommend if you have the ability to come here and visit first, you might want to visit here and possibly go visit a couple of colleges if you can. It's not necessary, but then you can kind of get the vibe and see if it's a place you'd want to live for like a year or two or 4 or however long you want to study here. But like once you decide you want to study here and you find the college you want to go to, the first step is just applying, getting accepted. The school will absolutely help you get your visa. They'll walk you through that whole process and help you do that. And then you just basically move here and study here and live here. But it's the schools help a lot with getting you prepared and coming in and all that kind of stuff. Now I will say this: I had Luna to help me with translation, but I know that they have English speakers that can facilitate all that if you don't have a translator. But it was like super easy for me because Luna just talked to them directly for me in Vietnamese. So
yeah, that's a school for you. That if you really want to study, specialize in history and culture, and we are really good at. If you want to like study the Asian culture, Indian culture, Vietnamese culture. It is a school. The University of Social Sciences and Humanities. University of Social Sciences and Humanities, and they have school. They have a university in both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, so you can choose
Cool.
what city you want to study. And
There you go.
they are on the system of our national university, so very very high quality.
Nice. You got a super chat. You got a couple super chats. Did you check out
Yep.
that? Did you hit the donation while I was gone? By the way.
I did.
Okay. Jane Doe said, "Hello, comrade." Hello, Jane.
Hi.
How you doing, comrade? You also got another super chat from Jane Doe again, who said, "Thoughts on Myanmar, Tamada, Shah, etc." Okay, I will just say, go watch the interview we had with Ding Dang Collective. That's the name, right? Ding Dang Collective.
Yeah.
We did an interview with them about Myanmar. This was like right when the military kind of coup-like thing was just starting, and it was a very good interview.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't know much about. We need to check back in with them because I don't even know what's going on now. Do you have any thoughts or know anything about what's going on right now, Luna?
News about Myanmar is extremely limited right now. We don't know nothing. Even in Vietnam.
Yeah, we need to check back in with the Ding Dang Collective. They have folks on the ground there that they talk to and correspond with, and probably the best source of information. I'd say go check out Ding Dang Collective. Luna, I'm not on a computer. Could you find a link to their Twitter or something that we can link to, maybe?
Yeah.
Mayhem Calling, best podcast. Everyone check out Mayhem Calling. Luna and I both have episodes, and I think it's time for me to go on again. As soon as I get back to Vietnam, Mayhem Calling, I'm going to be contacting you. We have a collab we want to do as well, but definitely a great, awesome comrade who interviews a lot of cool comrades. Here's a cool question, Luna. How different are North and South Vietnam today?
Oh, let me paste the Ding Dang Comrade first in the chat.
Okay.
It's just 8. It's just at Ding Dang TH, and that's it. That's please follow them on Twitter. They very very cool, and they know about situation in both Thailand and Myanmar too. So okay, what's the question again?
How different are North and South Vietnam these days?
I mean,
not that different, really. I lived in Ho Chi Minh City.
If you want to split here, we have some differences.
Yeah. The USA, like, there's a lot of like white journalists and people that want to overstate the differences.
That's so
and make it sound like they're like irrevocably divided and stuff, but they're not. I don't think they are.
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous because I understand. I know exactly what you're talking about. We do have some differences, but we never consider like big differences, or we consider we totally different reason or like different countries or group of people or something. No, and not just North and South. Every single province in Vietnam will have differences with each other. So it's kind of thing that we're proud of. Not the thing that to separate us from each other. But it's kind of funny and ridiculous seeing those Westerners that they know nothing about country, and they keep like, pushing the false narrative that Vietnamese North and South are so different. And then that usually used to support the idea that the South should be separated and the South should be under the U.S. occupation, blah, blah, blah. It's very kind of insidious way. But long story short, we mostly different in the takes about food. The North tend to eat more plain food, and the South tend to eat like more sweet and more spicy.
I mean, there are some cultural differences. I mean, like, I mean but they
different.
But that's true even within the North. There's like a lot of different cultures in the North. Like Thanh Hoa has like a different sort of vibe than Hanoi, and certainly like Haiphong has a very distinct kind of little subculture, right? So and that's in the North. Every village, it has like its own little dialect, and I mean it's like I don't know if dialect's actually the right word. They have their own like accent and
Oh,
You
our
know,
hometown Thanh Hoa have a lot of dialects.
somebody in our chat, Luna, spent like 3 years in Wien and asked what we think
Oh,
about the Wien accent. Can you do a Wien impression?
nói cái chi rửa. Mi đang nói cái chi rửa, tên mi là chi. I just asked what is your name. Could you understand it?
It's kind of like low and slow, right?
Yeah, tên mi là chi. Mi nọ, tao nọ biệt.
Oh, it's Che's birthday. I forgot about that. Happy birthday, Che Guevara. I should have
Chúc mừng sinh
smoked my
nhật.
cigar tonight, not last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I will try to speak English in the Ving accent. So this is how we talk, and we tend to speak low like this, and there's no uptone. And even though uptone is a very important tone in Vietnamese, but Ving people they don't use uptone like this. I could not raise my accent, my voice at all. So it's just a thing like that when I speak
it almost
English
sounds
in
like a
that
Wisconsin accent, don't you know?
accent.
Oh, I'd really like to go to Wien sometime, don't you know?
Yeah. Yeah, right?
By the way, Emma, I scrolled up a lot and I couldn't find your question about religion, so
Oh, here, I
you need to
got it. I
repost it
have
if
it.
you want
It's
to. Unless it was a super chat or something, Luna. Did you see a
here.
question from Emma about religion? Oh, you found it. Well, I can tell you this: we saw freaking Mormons. That blew my mind. Emma asks Luna, just curious, what's Vietnam's policies concerning religious proselytizing? The only information I've been able to find about it are from conservative corporate media. Okay, I mean, Luna and I were in Ha Dong, Vietnam, which it's like a suburb in Vietnam and Hanoi, and freaking white Mormons on bicycles were riding around our neighborhood proselytizing. But Luna probably has
Yep.
better info than that. Do you know what proselytizing is, Luna? I'm just asking because it's kind of a weird word.
I checked the dictionary. It's kind of
Yeah.
you force somebody to change the religion.
It really kind of means like preaching and trying to get people to join your
Convert
religion.
you.
Yeah.
We did see Mormons in Vietnam. I don't know how successful they are, but they never worked for me.
They have like, how does it work? There is some regulation about it, right?
So another way to do it. It's just a short story. Another way for those Mormon is that like they started they started a free English class. They only teach English for 30% of their time in class, and 70% they talk about
Religion.
God.
Right. They're like allowed to be in Vietnam, right? It's not like
Yeah, they are.
they're not like covert agents or something.
Believe it or not, we have freedom of religion in Vietnam. So
what are the regulations? What are you not allowed to do? Because I know they have like the anti-cult stuff, right?
you
How does
cannot
that work?
start a cult. Means you cannot use religion to gain any political or financial kind of purpose, like to
Interesting.
take people's money or ask you to or to gain.
Well, how do they define that? Because you can donate to a church. I know that because I've been to church in Vietnam.
So it's kind of hard. It's kind of still kind of a loophole that lots of cult try to get in Vietnam. At first, they try to act as a good kind of decent kind of religion, but later they use their power to take money from their their followers, and we only can do this if the followers, a group of followers write letters to the police to report it, and then the police will investigate. That's how it works. We cannot detect them from the start. There's no way. So usually they came to Vietnam, they start for a few years, and then after that, like, they slowly gain their power and show their true face. And if like that followers write letters to
but
talk
okay, but like specifically, what kind of things are they not allowed to do?
Specifically, they are not allowed to use their religious power to gain any political.
All right, that's not specific. That's very general.
So I don't know.
Like, what's something that somebody's gotten in trouble for that you can think of?
They cannot force any law in Vietnam to follow their religious law.
Huh. Okay,
nope.
That's interesting.
No law in Vietnam will be in favor of any religion.
I went to church. So you've never been to a church service in your life, have you, Luna?
I went to church with your mom.
No, a service. You never went to a church service. Like a okay, because I've been to church in Vietnam many times actually. And I went to one in Hanoi that was like the Quakers set it up, and it was just a normal church service. I've been to Korean churches in Vietnam. I've been to the Catholic church services in Vietnam. I have an ex who was Christian, and so I went to a lot of churches with her. And I mean, to me, it felt just like any other church service I'd ever been to growing up in the U.S. There didn't seem to be like there were no. I mean, most of the time, I don't even think there like most of the ones I went to, there weren't even really Vietnamese people there, and there was nobody like watching the service or monitoring it or anything like that. It was just like normal church service, so I didn't feel like there was any restriction or anything like that or any censorship at all.
Vietnam
is part of the Mormons Cambodian mission. Did not know that. Okay. Here we go. Jane Doe asked the question: religion in a socialist society or no to opiates? Like Luna and I are not so much the like staunch anti-religion.
Yeah.
We're not really.
We're not so much pro or anti it.
I mean, Vietnam, I feel like has shown that like you can have religious freedom in a socialist society with socialist people with socialist values, and it doesn't have to be mega disruptive. I mean, I think that I don't know. I mean, like Luna's mom is Buddhist, and I don't feel like that's anything she's doing is harming Vietnam's revolution. I mean, I don't know that from what I can tell. There were a lot of Buddhists that fought in the war. For the communists.
Monks. They stopped being monks and they joined the war. They fought.
Yeah.
So
monks joined the actual revolution. So
my main argument for this is that you can have freedom of religion in a social society as long as you do not let that religion, have any superpower in the government, in the decision maker group or something like that, because you do not want your religion to have a control in any kind of law policy maker or something. And that's exactly what Vietnam did. We have monks in our National Assembly, but none of our laws is in favor of Buddhism. We're totally neutral that.
So don't get me wrong. There are absolutely some reactionaries that try to use religion and Christianity and other, religious tendencies to like
Buddhism
try to.
Too.
Yeah, like there are three-stripe Christians, obviously, and there's some cults. There's some three-stripe cults. There's a big one that got kind of like busted down, right? Did that get like completely taken down by the government, Luna? That weird cult that was like, do you know what I'm talking about? The one that was like really in the news last year.
They all in court right now.
Okay, but see, they were like they were fascists and they were super evil, and the government like basically
they literally
took them down.
Sex cult.
They were doing all kinds of heinous stuff. But like, here's the thing. They were this evil. I mean, we're not going to go into what they did. Let's just say it was awful stuff. The kind of stuff that would like seriously, nobody would be down for what they were doing. But anyway, these were like hideous people, and the government cracked down on what they were doing. All this abusive stuff they were doing, and all these foreign journalists were reporting on it. Like Vietnam is oppressing these poor people from their freedom of religion, blah 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 blah. But like, they were seriously like a nefarious cult. Like, there's no defense you can have for the stuff that they were doing. But anyway, so it's not like you could just do whatever the hell you want and just hurt people and stuff and get away with it. Like in the USA, where a lot of cults do a lot of crime and get away with it because of the quote unquote religious freedom, as they say. I take issue with this, Alex. Luna, the hardcore atheist materialist, and EJ, the staunch Southern Baptist. Believe it or not, even though I grew up in South Carolina, I never went to a Southern Baptist service. I've been to Church of God. I've been to lots of Southern churches, but not Southern Baptist specifically.
So you've been baptized, right?
Yeah, I was baptized in the Lutheran church. Yeah, I have a certificate. Actually, my dad. I was trying to find my birth certificate because I was trying to get my real ID, and my dad was looking through all our paperwork, and he found my I forget what they call it, but he found my like certificate for my baptism, and my dad's like, "Oh, you might need that," and I was like, "What for?" And he's like, "When you try to get into heaven."
the heaven certificate.
Yeah. So, yep.
I have it, so I guess I will go to hell. Will you go to hell with me? Or live in heaven
Oh
alone?
man, yeah. I'll take one for the team, I guess. I could do what Archie Bunker did.
What did he do?
Archie Bunker did like a secret baptism of his grandson. Some people know what I'm talking about, but I could just sprinkle some holy water on you while you're sleeping, Luna, and you'll never
God
know.
damn it! God damn you!
People are gonna think I'm serious right now. People are gonna take this so seriously and get so mad about it. It's hilarious. So,
what is lava lamp?
Oh, a lava lamp? You don't know what a lava lamp is? Okay, how do I explain this? Imagine a bottle, okay, that you plug into the wall, and it's filled with basically a fluid and wax, and there's a lamp at the bottom that's hot, and the wax heats up and it like drifts up to the top, and then it comes back down, and it looks like lava. You never saw that? Have you seen that before? I don't think I've ever seen one in Vietnam. You could Google them. They're pretty cool. I used to have one when I was a kid. Do not drink your lava lamp, folks. There have been people who have died from drinking their lava lamps.
Non-baptized go to limbo, not hell. Oh,
well, there you
really?
go.
So I go to
You'll be
limbo.
fine, Luna. You just have to work it off in limbo. Uh-oh, Luna. Jane Doe's got all these great questions. I don't know if we can keep up with this. Thank you for the super chats, Jane Doe. Jane Doe says, Luna and I are fighting with the button. Okay. The role of automation and artificial intelligence to social society. We talked about this a little bit on Breadcast.
Yeah.
You start, Luna.
I mean, under social society, the automation AI is going to be great. That's going to be a true liberation of humanity, of labor.
Under capitalism, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying that you're going to compete with AI to get a job, to earn for living. But in the social society, AI work for you, and the whole society will benefit from that AI.
Well, okay. If you want my full thoughts on this, I have a video on my channel, Non-Compete, called The Dark Future of Socialism. But, I mean, I think that if you want to go real out there, Luna, with the sci-fi hypotheticals, I think that an artificial intelligence that's truly sentient, should have personhood and rights and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, I doubt we'll see that in our lifetime. And if we do, under capitalism, that thought just kind of terrifies me for all the reasons Luna was just talking about. But I don't think we should make. I guess my whole thing is like I don't think we should be trying to make sentient artificial intelligence. At this stage in our development, we're just not ready for that. There's so many reasons why it could be terrible.
Dude, you don't even have a health care. Stop talking about AI.
And you know that capitalists will literally own anything that they make that approaches sentience, and it'll literally own it.
Yeah,
and they'll harness it for their greed and their war and all the shit that they do to destroy the planet. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of I don't think we can stop it, so I'm not saying like we should be out there trying to stop it, but it's just I really hope that they don't develop it before we overthrow capitalism, because it's a terrifying prospect to me. What do you think, Luna? Anyway, I think China will probably find it before we do. As far I'm speaking, when I say we, I mean like the USA. Speaking as a citizen of this bourgeois
scared. I am scared of having AI and sentience under capitalism. I am.
I don't know, man. It's a terrifying prospect to me, honestly. We're not ready for it. Notary says, "I'm in love with Luna." Sorry, EJ. You're allowed to love Luna. You're allowed to simp for Luna, but just remember that I'm the original King Simp. I was the first Luna Simp. I loved Luna before any of you even knew who Luna was. I was the very first simp. I'm the one that told Luna to start a channel.
Yeah.
So your simping is completely, my simping determined your simping. In our dialectical simp relationship, your simping might impact my simping, but my simping determines your simping. So just know your place in the hierarchy. Okay?
So you're
we'll
an
all be
anarcho-monarchist now?
copacetic. I'm an
With the
anarcho simp.
simping?
I'm an anarcho-monarcho simp. I'm an anarchist in all things except simping for Luna. Yeah, exactly. I'm the bane of simping for Luna. You merely adopted simping for Luna. I was born in it. I am the Omega Chad simp. Yes, thank you, Frackbox. That's correct. The simparchy. K-Class Shitpost calls it the simparchy. Yes, you are merely meta simping. I simp IRL. Felipe says that your chats are disappearing from your streams. It might be because sometimes it takes time for those things to process. We'll look into that. Thank you for letting us know about that. Oh, I starred a comment. Did I keep it? You have some starred ones too.
Does the Vietnamese government tolerate three stripers generally, or are they kind of considered to be Nazi adjacent?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. It's kind of both, because Vietnam, I'm introducing to you, Vietnam is a three-stripe group that we consider them terrorists. They started right from the 1980s, and they tried to send soldiers, train soldiers to Vietnam to try to infiltrate and bomb Vietnam many times. So that was why we consider them terrorists, and they three stripers. But outside of that, we still have way many other three stripers that mostly just LARP on the internet, and we really don't give a shit about them.
That's funny. It's a sensitive thing too, though, because like, I mean, imagine if it's a sensitive thing, because like, Reuters and all these NGOs are always waiting on the sidelines to like destabilize Vietnam and use any situation they can to try to destabilize the socialist movement in Vietnam. So like, they can't just kick all the fascists out of the country. Also, there are at the very least, there are neoliberals who have like infiltrated the Communist Party, and that's just like going to happen. So they have to be careful, right? I mean, it's tough. It's tough. They have to kind of balance between preserving the revolution and maintaining, diplomatic ties with the rest of the world. It's like, it's tough.
It's tough.
I don't know what the, I think they've done a pretty good job most of the time maintaining the balance, I guess is what I would say. But y'all should pay attention to the three stripes, if only because a lot of things that have happened in at least the USA, the three stripes kind of like pioneered it in Vietnam. Like, for instance, the Freedom Convoy. The Vietnamese fascists were doing that like years before.
Yeah, 2017.
They literally wrote the book. Like, there's a Vietnamese fascist who literally wrote a manual on how to do a trucker convoy like destabilization program, and she rolled it out in Vietnam in what year, Luna?
2017, 2018.
Yeah, 2017, 2018. And that was like the first like prototype for that strategy. And I can't prove this. Take it or leave it, but I'm pretty convinced that the Freedom Convoy people basically were a direct development from that same, movement, and they communicate with each other. You see the three stripe flags at like the January 6th rally. You see them at all these fascist rallies. And I know that like Vietnamese fascists are communicating with, fascists in the USA, and it's not like they're.
That Vietnamese fascist who wrote that manual for Freedom Convoy, she was nominated with like human rights prize by the UK and Canada too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the US praised her of being like freedom fighter, the
Right.
truth teller.
That's the thing. If you're a fascist in Vietnam, you get labeled as a freedom fighter. If you run a evil sex cult in Vietnam, you get labeled as this poor, oppressed little religion that's just trying to do its own thing. I mean, the U.S. Media and propaganda complex champions and lionizes some very detestable people and really spins the stories on what's going on. So be really careful.
Disgusting. It's extremely disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people ask me about that, and I was like, God damn it, I'm very mad.
There's so many more good questions, but we're running out of time, Luna.
Yeah.
There's a good question about
Actually, I am
guns. There's a
30
good
minutes
question
late,
about.
so we have 25 minutes more to go.
Oh, do you want to do the? Are you just streaming on Luna Oil Live?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the Luna Oil Live after party?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this is the deal, Luna.
Mm.
Luna's audience, I mean. This is the deal, Luna's audience. Well, first we got to answer Jane Doe's question real quick because she sent a super chat.
Yeah.
Or they sent a
Thoughts
super
on
chat.
genetic modification on babies, X?
Probably. What do you think, Luna? I would have the same answer as AI. Like, it could be cool, but I don't want the capitalists, taking the lead on that. That kind of thing is very terrifying in a capitalist system. I could see how it could benefit humanity,
if
but
they breed babies that like how this part like specific for this job is that's gonna be awful.
Well, we watch Gattaca, right? You watch Gattaca with me, right? Yeah. I just under capitalism, I don't see anything but Gattaca future, where there's like the super genetically enhanced, God class, and then the rest of us are like
to be perfect.
Yeah, that's scary stuff under capitalism, in my opinion. I don't think we're developed enough for that. Like, our science is developing faster than our political economy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's scary to me. But let's do the after party now, right, Luna?
Yeah, let's do it, everybody.
So, we want people to please subscribe to Luna's YouTube channel at youtube.com/LunaOiLive. We know a lot of you watch but aren't subscribed over at Luna Oil Live. So this is our incentive to get you to come over there. Sometimes we'll do these after parties where Luna will stop streaming on youtube.com/LunaOil and continue streaming on Luna Oil Live. If you're watching on Twitch, none of this applies to you. So you just keep watching.
Here, I'm sending the link to the chat.
Yeah, just send it to the youtube.com/LunaOil. I'm spraying myself with mosquito spray now because I'm getting eaten alive here in South Carolina. So if you're watching on youtube.com/LunaOil, just go into that little link that Luna just dropped and come join us over at Luna Oil Live. Luna's going to stop the stream on Luna Oil, youtube.com/LunaOil any moment now.
Okay.
You ready, Luna?
Bye, Luna Oil people. If you want to have an after party with us, please join the Luna Oil.
We're going to talk about guns, so you'll have fun.
And if you're if you're on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're still here. Okay, bye, Luna people. Okay.
Hey, Comrade Clever Name's in the chat.
Huh?
Comrade Clever Name is in the chat.
Oh, really?
Music playing now. That party music?
It's very noisy out there.
No. You're playing music in the stream, Luna.
That's strange.
Am I lying? Does everybody else hear music?
I don't have any music here. I want to eat this delicious bánh mì. Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. That was my end. That was on my end. All right. Welcome to the after party. Luna's got a sandwich. What? You have a bánh mì? I'm so mad right now. What is that? A Thanh Hoa bánh mì? The kind that I love the most?
Pork. They have tons of pork floss.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know that I've ever had pork floss on a bánh mì.
It is our style. We always have pork floss here, and inside of it is a vegetable and pork stew.
I wasn't lying, by the way. Marxism or Rayism. I was wrong. I guess I was lying, but unintentionally. I did hear music, though. That's not a lie. I am so jealous of that, Sammy.
EJ,
I gotta say, man.
Talk about a minute. I go get the headphones that my mom's using.
I could talk about sandwiches all day. I've been eating a lot of sandwiches here in the States now that I have access to lunch meat again, like gabagool and turkey and such. I like sandwiches. This is such riveting content. I am definitely missing Vietnam pizza cotta. I miss Vietnam so much. I can't wait to go back home. I love a good salami. River Ransom, you are a person after my own heart. Let's see. Huh? How did you meet Luna? Che wants to know. And was she a leftist when you met her? Luna was a commie. Luna was a commie from birth. So yes, that's true. Now, I have it on good authority from Luna that she did flirt with liberalism for a moment or two, but not when that was long before I met her, and she abandoned that path. How did I meet her, though? We met on an online dating site. I think OkCupid, right?
OkCupid.
And we just went on a date, and we fell in love.
You fell in love.
You fell in love too. You started it.
What? What did I do?
You fell in love with me.
Hey, you're gonna give the audience dog food tonight?
A little. Well, they're challenging my simp status, so I have to assert my simp dominance. I have to be the alpha simp. Let's see. We had a question about guns. I don't know where it went.
Guns?
I lost it. Well, somebody had asked us like what Vietnamese people think about guns. We've talked about this many, many times, but I mean, you just need to do a video about the militia, Luna, so we could because like we keep saying the same thing all the time because people are curious about this. You just need to make a video so we could just say, go watch Luna's video on the militia. But while Luna eats her sandwich, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you. Even though people get mad when I talk for too long, but Luna's literally eating a sandwich, so I will talk. Vietnam has a militia system, and I think what's the percentage of people in the militia, Luna? Or you had a number on that, didn't you?
1.5% of the population.
Yeah, 1.5% of the population. I mean, pretty much every neighborhood has an armory with fully stocked with like AK-47s and grenades and all that stuff. They have vehicles and everything. But the military in Vietnam, I mean, everyone has this impression of Vietnam that it's extremely centralized and dominated by the central government. But actually, things are very decentralized here. And the military in particular, and the militia especially in particular, is very decentralized. But like military bases are all over the place. Like in the USA where I'm from, I grew up in a military family. I've been on a lot of military bases. Military bases in the USA are like huge and centralized, like Fort Jackson in South Carolina. It's massive, you know. Fort Benning is huge. The Charleston Naval Shipyard used to be huge before it got shut down. The Norfolk Naval Yard is huge. Vietnam has a bunch of very small military bases, and it's very much set up for like guerrilla warfare. And the militia is very decentralized and has a lot of like local control and authority in how they organize and train and all that kind of stuff. But what's kind of interesting about it to me is that basically every neighborhood has an armory and members of your community that are training in, you know, firearms and armed response and all this kind of stuff. And in a crisis or in any kind of an emergency, those weapons can be accessed very quickly, you know, essentially by the people in your community. To me, it seems like a good compromise to where there's like access to firearms if they're necessary, especially in like some kind of invasion or revolutionary kind of scenario. But there's not like this just glut of gun violence all over the place. But Vietnam has very
Yeah.
different material conditions in history and historical development than the USA. So I'm not saying like the USA should just instantly adopt this, this method of doing things, and we should just model, copy Vietnam's model in the USA, or probably any other overtly capitalist country, because it just wouldn't be the same thing. It's just an interesting way for Vietnam to handle their own particular material conditions.
Like this, our material conditions are very different. So every single one of us students are trained in using AK-47 and learning basic guerrilla tactics and like
Luna
this.
Luna learned in college and high school, right?
Yeah. In my time in high school, I learned how to throw grenades, and I got the highest score in class. And in university, I learned how to do this, shoot the AK-47 lying down like this, and I also got one of the highest score in class.
Yeah. So every student has, every Vietnamese person has guerrilla training.
Every single student of Vietnam are well trained.
And they teach guerrilla tactics and all that kind of stuff.
People, that's kind of a contradiction to you, right, EJ? Where every single students ever got well trained in not just using weapons and guns and also tactics, military tactics. We are not violent people at all. We just don't shoot people on the street.
Right. Exactly. You're like the Bajoran. You're peaceful people, but you've had to learn how to fight. But
yep. Like we peaceful people, we know, but we know exactly how to protect ourselves. So don't mess with us.
And, hey, Skylar said, are y'all doing all right? EJ looks restless. And Comrade Joshua said, EJ's in the USA. He's probably just tired from all the bullshit here. That's got a lot to do with it. I've been working really hard. I've been doing contracting work. And today I actually just did a lot of yard work and housework for my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I've been learning. I've kind of been apprenticing to my dad to learn how to be an electrician. I think maybe in the fall I might take the journeyman test to become a journeyman electrician, which is an interesting thing. And if anyone wants to, I can talk a little bit about that and why I'm making that decision. But it's been interesting. It's been exhausting but fun, and I've been learning a lot. But also, the USA does have a lot of bullshit going on right now. That's for sure.
In class like this, we just learn simple stuff, such as how to salute, right? How to turn left and right, how to crawl, belly.
How to turn left and right. That's an important skill. I learned how to. Luna taught me how to crawl on your belly. Actually, you can watch it in her Coochie Tunnels videos.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what Grant pointed out, Luna? If my plan to spend a couple months every year working as an electrician in the States works out, then I'm essentially a migrant worker. No shit. So that's kind of interesting. But Luna, what kind of tactics did they teach you? I'm always curious about that. Do they have a manual? You should do a stream where you just go through your tactics manual, your military training manual.
Textbook.
Although maybe you don't want to share that with the foreigners. I don't know. Maybe that's
I don't. That's our quintessence. That book is a quintessence of our guerrilla tactics that we developed for decades. So should I show that to you?
I don't know. You should show our comrades. They're not gonna apply it anyway because Western leftists never do. Oh, okay, I'm being mean, but
You're being mean. Come on.
But come on. I was just gonna say Western leftists never get organized, so it doesn't matter. Sorry. I'm sorry. I do feel a little cynical from spending this time in the U.S., but give us an example of a tactical thing you learned. Did you learn where to set up how to set up an ambush or anything like that, or what kind of stuff did they teach you?
You know about Sun Tzu and 36? Yeah. We have that kind of version.
The Art of War.
Yeah, the other war. And then we mostly learn, like the name and how this means, how this what do you call it? The name of an art. And what does that mean, and how you have to do it, and what kind of situation you should apply what.
I see. Did they teach you like? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look at the book. I'm curious about it.
And we also learn
Oh,
about
God.
the tactic of three stripes. We call it like diễn biến hòa bình. You mean that in the peacetime.
Really?
Mm-hmm. In the
Interesting.
peace, you after winning the war, you're not fully win yet. You will have to
So they
keep
teach you like
fighting
political
whatever.
warfare, basically.
For political warfare, yes.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Man, we get like the word. We get no media literacy training. We get nothing in the U.S. It's rough.
Like seriously, you're like the biggest military in the world. How do you people know nothing about military tactics?
Well, I
Information
mean,
warfare.
we don't win the wars we're in. We're not really in the business of winning wars, Luna. We're in the business of like having long, protracted, drawn out invasions where we get to sell a lot of military equipment and bombs and nerve gas and chemical warfare that breaks international. We're really good at committing war crimes in the USA. What, you never showed that meme, dude?
Here, I got it.
The eagle meme. Come on, that's like the best meme you've posted in a long time. The chat agreed with my cynical joke about the Western left. I feel a little bit less guilty now. Notary S said, "It's a treat listening to you two." Thank you, Notary S. That was very kind of you to say that.
So
It's a treat.
sweet.
It's a treat. Interacting with all of y'all as well. We learn a lot from our audience. I've always said that.
It's amazing.
Everyone has like banger
Passion,
knowledge, wisdom, jokes. Y'all are pretty rad. Most of yous. Not all of yous, though.
You're so mean. So that's it.
Read this out, Luna. Full screen it. Maximize it. The meme. There you go.
America will bomb and exploit your country until there's nothing left, and then make a movie about how sad their soldiers got from doing that.
I love it. It's so true. Oh, holy hell. That's exactly what like the entire Vietnam War film industry is all about.
Yep.
It's like, isn't it so sad how these white people had to go and commit war crimes?
Yeah.
Poor white people.
It's so sad. Like they got traumatized from that, the PTSD. Oh, like, yes.
That's like legit though. This is like straight up dark comedy. It's like, it is very funny, but underlying it is such a dark truth of like how the USA views itself in the world and acts in the world. I mean, this is like, I think this is one of the best examples of like agitprop and dark comedy that I've ever seen. This meme needs to be shown to everybody in the USA. That's my mission in life now. Everyone needs to like, share, retweet, blah, 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 this meme. Come on. Steal the meme.
What Vietnam War movie, I'm asking you in the chat, what Vietnam War movie that you watch that fit exactly this description?
Luna has some great videos on her channel. Get this, folks. It's called Luna Cinema or Luna Theater or something, Luna. It's a playlist on your channel.
Yeah, Luna Cinema, I think.
But here's the funny thing. A lot of those videos have been shadow banned by YouTube by placing them on this. Yeah. I've had it happen to some of my videos before. They placed them on this list where you can't access it on like public libraries and a lot of like corporate servers and stuff. They call it content restricted or something, but they never inform creators that they do that, and there's no way to know if they've done that to your videos. But we have confirmed that a lot of her videos have been placed on that shadow ban. What's that other movie you were recommending earlier, Luna? The Smell of Burning Grass?
Yes, The Smell of Burning Grass.
You can watch that on YouTube with subtitles in English.
Yes. It's pretty accurate. Lots of, Vietnamese veterans said that it's pretty accurate with their experience. So go check it out. It's very brutal. I watched like half of it. It was very brutal. It showed the fakes, the true fakes of the fight from the Vietnamese perspective. Lots of deaths.
Yeah. People are talking about Vietnam War movies. Somebody made a great comment on one of your Twitter threads, Luna. You were asking people about like, the worst Vietnam films or whatever. And there's this movie, Full Metal Jacket. I don't think we've watched that yet, Luna. I doubt you've seen it. But somebody made the comment that it's like a really good movie followed by a really bad movie. And I think that's the best description for that movie I've ever heard in my life. Because the first half is like great. And then the second half is just like a schlocky Vietnam War movie. It's just so funny. I haven't watched it in a long, long time, though. So I'll have to rewatch it to see if that's still my opinion. But Chuck Norris has Vietnam War movies called Braddock. I've never even seen those.
I've heard of it.
We will have to check that out. Chuck Norris is ridiculous, Luna. I don't know if you're familiar with Chuck Norris.
I know Chuck Norris. I watched some of
You probably know him from the memes.
Yeah.
Those memes from the simpler, more innocent times of the internet. Chuck Norris memes kind of make me feel nostalgic for before I knew just how greasy the underbelly of the internet really was. Back when we were just doing like I Can't Has cheeseburger memes and Velociraptor memes. The good old days. The innocent, naive days of the internet.
What about Green Berets?
The Green Berets. We gotta watch that. The John Wayne. So over the top. That one's like overt propaganda.
I watched Forrest Gump once, but years ago, I think.
Did you watch it with me or no? I think you did not watch it with me.
I did not. Years
We
ago,
should
before
watch it
I
again.
met you even. Before I met you even.
That movie's like interesting because it's so overtly centrist. Because like you never like they're so careful to like not have Forrest Gump pick a side about anything. There's specifically there's that scene where he's at the Washington Monument reflecting pool and he's like gonna give his speech about what he thinks about the Vietnam War, and the speakers go out so you don't get to hear what Forrest Gump thinks, because that would be too divisive. If Forrest Gump represents the spirit and the heart of America and Americans working together in this like literally fascist, Parenti describes this really well about how the idea of like uniting all of the classes together as a nation with the nation as the focus, that's what fascism is. Sorry, that was a tangent, but I felt it was worth saying. And Forrest Gump, therefore, is basically a centrist fascist propaganda, fascist adjacent propaganda.
That's a dono.
We got a dono.
Coming from
Read it out.
Pizzicato. And the message is, along with the tech questions, but more current, can you talk about the role of big tech in Vietnam? I've lived in places that totally operate on WhatsApp, Facebook propagates genocide, etc. How do you imagine a digital space for the people?
Oh my God.
That's a big question.
This is like something that Luna and I constantly think about and talk about.
Yeah.
You don't know how big this question is, man. Like, right? Am I right, Luna? This is like all we ever talk about.
Yeah.
How do we make the internet like serve the revolution? It's a huge but very important question, I think. And I don't know. It's a very complicated ass question. Or what does a space look like that is like functionally productive for the left? I've been thinking about that for years.
Not totally not addictive and not like just promote like,
and not toxic. Like how do you overcome the toxicity of the internet? Because social media platforms exist to create toxic spaces. I mean, like that's what they're built for. Especially like Twitter and Discord and Reddit. I mean,
horrible.
It's very tough.
Wuss.
Well, I think that this is where we need to be looking at really, really, really hard at the philosophies we've already established, such as anarchist ideas of like consensus democracy, Marxist-Leninist ideas of democratic centralism, really studying those, but also understanding the essential difference of online communication. There are some really huge essential differences between real world face-to-face movement building and the online world. There's a dialectical relationship, obviously, between the internet and our like physical reality.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the internet determines the physical reality determines the internet, but the internet absolutely reflects and impacts the real world. But like, it's such a tough question. I talk to Luna about this like every single freaking day.
Exactly. And
it's kind of like my mission in life. I feel like, I don't know if you feel that way, Luna. But it also is a mission that I am not prepared for or qualified for. But I feel like that's such an important thing, and I don't know. It's tough. We do need to evolve these ideologies.
I love your avatar, Skylar.
Yes, me too. Me too. That's pretty great.
The freaking cat.
That's how I felt like since I landed in the USA. But yeah, Anarchist Cat Food says that's a good subject you should explore. I think it's worth putting a microscope on it. I mean, I really do want to eventually write a whole book. This is something it's probably gonna be years from now, if it ever even happens. It's a pipe dream, but I want to write a whole book that's like a thorough dialectical materialist analysis of the internet, and just really try to like get to the bottom of like, but that's a massive project, and I'm certainly not ready for anything like that. But I want to do like a historical analysis. I want to look at how it functions and how it interacts with and reflects the real world. But I guess I should start with something simpler than that before I bite off a bigger project. But I have some older videos where I talk about, how leftists should use the internet and all that. But I probably need to update them. It's damn tough though. Like, one thing we all need to really do is, first of all, stop thinking that arguing on the internet matters at all.
It doesn't
like
matter.
Bickering and debating about shit like Stalin and whether or not we will have restaurants under communism and all that kind of shit. It's like arguing about that stuff on the internet is useless, worthless. The whole debate bro culture is, look, I've been working with these folks, and I've been talking to a lot of folks about politics in the USA the whole time I've been here. None of them have heard of debate bros. They're not making really an impact. I mean, they probably are ruining a lot of people's lives out there, but they're not getting anything done. It's like debating shit on the internet is not going to build a revolutionary movement. We have to get out and do praxis and test our ideas, test our theories against reality. We can't find the best ideas by talking about them. Fred Hampton said it best. We can't just talk. We can't just listen. We have to get out there and practice, and we have to make mistakes. We have got to make mistakes. Mistakes means progress. It's a basic tenet of dialectical materialism and just common sense, right? Like, I mean, you got to test what your ideas are against reality. Yes, Skylar. These arguments are circular. They're not meant to end. They're gotchas, guilty as charged. And it's an industry. And it's an industry which is built upon having a business relationship with Nazis. I mean, imagine if I couldn't even sleep at night if that was my business model, where like I have to have this ongoing established relationship with fascists and like white supremacists and shit. Like, that's the business model of debate, and like, imagine if Ho Chi Minh just spent all his time like debating fucking fascists. I mean, could you imagine that?
It is so funny seeing those people calling themselves socialists. They care for the working class, but like they welcome ex-Nazis. Hey, I was just a Nazi a month ago, but now I'm socialist. Welcome me, yay, welcome. And then me, like a Marxist-Leninist, my whole life being a communist, they call me red fast tanky and then treated me horribly. They even like Nazis. Well, God welcome even way more than me. So that's their true value. Can't expect much better.
I think my battery might die at any moment, Luna. So
Me too. I need to get ready. I have 2 hours and a half to get ready for the train.
oh, you're taking the train back to Da Nang?
Back to
I hope our
Hanoi.
house isn't flooded.
I hope. Back to Hanoi, then to Hanoi from back to Da Nang.
All right, so in about 15 hours or so, we'll know if our house was flooded. We'll know if Luna cleaned all the crap off the balcony drain.
God damn it.
Well, assuming my battery might die, I guess I'll go ahead and take off now. Luna, you can wrap the show up. Thanks for watching, everybody. I've already ranted enough. Take care of each other, and yeah, see you next time.
Everybody, I need to go get ready for the train. Bye, everybody. See you next time.